Hey everybody, it's Brandon Luna from Cigars and Cinema here to talk to you about Texas Frightmare Weekend. It's coming up and you need to get your tickets now before those prices increase. The dates, April 29th through May 1st, 2016 at the DFW Airport Hyatt Regency. The list for this year's guest is freaking awesome. I'm going to give you just a taste of it here. Robert Englund, yeah, that guy played Freddy Krueger. He's going to be there. George Romero, you know, the guy who only made up zombies in Night of the Living Dead. Yeah, he's going to be there. Tom Savini, makeup extraordinaire. And guess what? Howard Sherman's going to be there. He's the guy who played Bub in Day of the Dead. And guess what? For photo ops, he's going to be dressed up as Bub. How awesome is that? John Carroll Lynch, Twisty the Clown, he's there. Lance Hendrickson, Kane Hodder, the dude's Jason. Tony Todd, the dude's Candyman. The list goes on and on and on. So don't forget to go get your tickets at www.texasfrightmareweekend.com. Do it now.
Cigars in Cinema.
Will you bring in the cigars, please?
The movie review podcast that tackles the smoky side of cinema.
Cigar, mate!
Each week we review a movie that contains in some way, shape, or form someone smoking a cigar.
Cigars. Fire is good.
We'll talk about who smoked it, where they smoked it, how they smoked it, and we'll probably make fun of them if they have no idea what they're doing.
What are you doing? You never light a cigar that way.
So sit back, light up, and enjoy the podcast that has it all. Cigars.
Cigar. Smoke it.
Smoke it.
Movies.
Say hello to my little friend!
And general mayhem.
My doggy!
Hey everybody, it's Brandon Luna,
And Randy Rankin.
your long lost podcast people.
That's right. Have you missed us?
I think maybe they have. I think I said lawn lost. I didn't even say long lost.
I know.
A little
I was
too
going to
much
let it go.
Black grouse and
And pizza.
no,
and all
yeah,
kinds of
pizza and
stuff.
lots of alcohol. We're about one sheet,
Sheet and a half.
sheet and a half to the
quarter.
win. Yeah.
Something like that.
So welcome back to Cigars and Cinema.
Welcome.
We've taken a little bit of a break.
I'm looking at a building that says Mayo.
Is it a Mayo Clinic or something?
I don't know.
They make mayo over there. We should
know.
go over there and get some mayo tomorrow.
We should.
Fresh mayo is probably pretty good.
Yeah. Didn't mean to interrupt. This Mayo sign's just distracting me, man. Anyway.
Do I need to close the curtain so you don't
No,
see
I'm
the mayo?
good. I'm
Okay.
good. Where are we, Brandon?
We're in Tulsa, Oklahoma,
Tulsa.
home of
Chandler Bing.
Yeah, of Friends. If you don't know, we're fans of Friends, and we reference
Yes,
it
we
quite
reference
often,
them a lot. You know,
I'm still thinking we need to do a Friends podcast where we basically review an episode of podcast.
we should.
We should do that. Yeah,
And that could be called Long Lost Friends.
long lost friends. Yep, or friends with friends.
Friends that people that haven't seen Friends, and we're going to talk about it for a long time.
That's a really long name.
Yeah, it is. Okay. We'll just shorten it to Friends. Wait, never mind.
Friends who like friends. Friends with friends. Anyway,
Whatever.
it's not why we're here. So
No, we're
this
not
is
talking about Friends.
Cigars and Cinema, and
Yes.
today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to do. Actually, we've done this before. There's a couple. There's a movie we did. There's some movies that we did, like a bunch of movies together.
You say we did this, I'm like, what? We did?
Didn't we?
What did we do? What
There
was that?
There was something that we did, like several movies together of.
I don't remember.
You don't remember? Did we?
No.
Maybe we didn't.
Maybe we talked about doing it one time.
Possibly.
It wasn't Star Wars.
No. We did the Bond thing.
Yeah, that was Bond. We did.
Yeah.
But you like did a Bond movie a week as a little side note thing.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
you were
yeah.
watching them once a week or something.
Correct. So what we're doing is an anthology. We're doing the Rocky movies.
Yes. Bill Conti had to have made a shitload of money for that song.
I would hope so.
Yeah,
I would hope he
exactly.
made a crap ton of
Hopefully
money
he gets
for it.
residuals.
One of the
or
most
his-
inspirational songs ever recorded.
I get pumped up every time I hear it. I don't
Yep.
know what.
If I ever had a punching bag, that would be playing.
Oh yeah,
pretty much
absolutely.
on repeat the entire
absolutely.
time.
And if I could run upstairs, I would run upstairs to that music.
Yep, that and I've Got the Power would be the two that I would play on pretty much repeat.
Mine would be another Rocky song.
What's the other Rocky?
Eye of the Tiger. I always loved Eye of the
yeah,
Tiger.
Eye of
That
the
song
Tiger,
used to
that's a
get me
good one,
pumped
yeah.
up when I'd hear
So
that
Eye
song.
of the Tiger, I've Got the Power,
And
Rocky
Rocky.
theme. Maybe, what's that one by CNC Music Factory? That I guess it is I've Got the Power.
Yeah.
There was another one, too, that was real...
You're-
Baby's Got Back. Baby Got Back would be it.
Baby's got back. I saw a Trader's Joe yesterday, by the way.
Did you? Speaking of brown, we're drinking some brown liquor
Call
right
back.
now.
We're doing reach back
Yeah.
arounds for even a
The-
previous show.
We're drinking
Yesterday.
the Black Grouse, thanks to my father, who decided he would give me a bottle of Black Grouse. So, hey, thanks, Dad.
Thanks. We appreciate
We
it.
appreciate it. So, the Rocky movies. 7 movies of awesomeness.
Yeah.
Maybe, 6, maybe 5 movies of awesomeness. And 2 that were kind
there's
of okay.
one that I'm not crazy about, and there's another one that I like better than other people like.
Okay, there's a couple that I'm not crazy about, and one that, I'll just say there's a couple I'm not crazy about. So, Rocky, solid movie.
Excellent
movie. I mean,
one Best Picture.
But very well acted, very well written. It was the coming out party for the Italian Stallion beyond the porn movie that he did before that.
Right.
And, a lot of people don't see Stallone as this smart business guy or this smart guy. He just comes across as,
Well,
but I mean, the dude's a writer, the dude's a director. He's done a lot of good movies. He's produced a lot of good films.
Yep.
Proved he can act twice before. Once with the first Rocky, and then with that cop movie he did, Copland. Which
Stop or My Mom Will Shoot.
Rhinestone, also very good.
Over the top.
Yeah.
But Copland was great.
Copland
he was good in Copland.
And he was considered for an Oscar for that, but I think it was just because it was him at that time in his career. They said, whatever,
right.
But it didn't happen.
So how do you want to do this? We want to break it down. We want to talk about the cigar scene first, and then cigar issue.
Well, we usually talk about the cigar scenes, and we're not going to get into the minutia of when they are in these movies, but there's characters that smoke cigars in these films. You got who?
You got Burgess Meredith as Mickey.
You got Mickey.
He's almost always smoking.
You got Paulie,
Burt Young.
And those are pretty much to the first three films where there's really a lot of cigar smoking, and then it kind of dies off after that.
And there's one where Stallone has one in his mouth.
Stallone in, I believe, the third one when he's kind of preening and not practicing as much as he should and having too much fun when he buys a stupid robot and crap.
Right.
He's got a cigar in his mouth at some point. But after that, it kind of dies off.
Yeah.
But still, they're in there. So it is qualified as cigars in cinema.
They what? I don't remember the word I was going to say.
Wow.
Yeah, qualified. That's what I meant.
It's been a little too long.
It has been.
It's been about 3-month hiatus.
Sad thing is we weren't that great then either, but that's okay. We'll get by.
We've been doing this for 2 freaking years. How are we not
2
this
and a half.
great? Yeah.
We're going on 3.
God.
No, it is 3 because it was March.
Oh, my God. 3 years,
3 years
of podcasting.
And we've made about $0. And
we were getting some cigars there for a little bit,
Yeah,
so it was a little bit of profitable, but not so much profitable.
And we got great
for us.
equipment. We did get great equipment.
We did get very
sponsors.
nice equipment from the man, the myth.
He exists.
Oh yeah. Well, unless you go to the shop, you don't know that. So.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
But
So
Matt, thank you, Matt, for supporting the show all this time.
Yes.
And keeping us going.
Absolutely.
So Rocky 1. Let's break it down by movie. So we'll break it down with Rocky 1.
I mean,
first.
we'll
This is
start
going to
with
be
the first one?
It's going to be a long show. Yeah, it's going to be a long show. We'll eventually get to Creed. By the time we're at Creed, we'll both be asleep.
And you'll be tired. They'll be tired of listening to us.
Right. So Rocky 1, just a great dramatic film.
Very
And
good. Inspirational. Kind
wasn't
of feel good, but not overly feel good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Was not. I mean, this is one of those film series that really changed over time.
Yes.
The first movie was basically a dramatic movie with some action in it. It was a boxing movie. Gritty. A good film. But if you watch it, if you were to watch Rocky 1, and it wasn't called Rocky 1, it's just called Rocky. If you were to watch Rocky,
that would have been a little presumptuous to call the first one.
I'm going to call it Rocky 1. Well, what if we don't make a sequel? I'm going to call it Rocky 1. But if you watch that and then watch 4, completely different feel.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's goes from a dramatic movie with a story to tell and characters that you care about to a popcorn film.
Yeah.
So they were totally different movies.
Well, it's that 80s, feel-good 80s time when Rocky, by the time 4 rolled around.
Yeah. So Rocky is 76. This is pre-Star Wars.
Yes.
Rocky.
Yeah.
So this was now, was it a big hit at the time?
Relatively, I thought it was a hit. I don't know for sure.
I think it did well. So here's the budget. The budget was $960,000, and it grossed $225 million worldwide.
Yeah, but I think it was a word of mouth movie. I think it started big time.
It was one of those ones.
It won Best Picture. People don't like to remember that Stallone was involved in a Best Picture. And it was a picture, and I've used this line before, but it boggles my mind because we're both big fans of this guy. None other than Frank Capra, the legendary filmmaker, said he wished he'd written Rocky when he saw the movie. He was that blown away by it.
So Oscar winner for Best Picture for Irving Winkler and Robert Kartoff. So they got the Oscar. Oscar winner for Best Director for John G. Avildsen. Oscar winner for Best Film Editing. So Stallone didn't get anything. Didn't get the screenplay. But he was involved in an Oscar-winning movie right off the bat. So that's
and he did write it. So you'd think
he did. Yeah, he did.
If it had won Best Screenplay, he would have won that. But
correct.
Yeah.
So I mean that's a pretty damn good achievement. And if you think about it, Rocky II really didn't. To me, Rocky II didn't need to exist. I think Rocky II was an afterthought. It seemed like it was an apology for the ending of the first movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
by the way, there'll be spoilers because these movies are almost Rocky's 40 years old.
exactly, yeah.
You know, man, that makes me feel old. So I saw
And
it-
Stallone's like a million, so he's like
least,
150 years old
Something
or
like
something.
that.
Yeah.
But everybody knows the story. He's a down on his luck boxer. He's actually works as a collector for the mob or for local thugs, and just to make ends meet. And Carl Weathers is Apollo Creed. He's kind of been tired. He's the champ. He's kind of tired of all the bums he's been fighting. He wants to give someone a shot, and let's get some no-name guy to fight me. It'll be an exhibition, so if he does by any chance lose, he's not going to lose his championship. So through a series of whatever, Rocky Balboa gets picked. And you can elaborate, or you can just sit there.
Yeah, I'm just going to sit there. Yeah. And Rocky is this, just this palooka from the block that everybody knows he's a good fighter and he's got a lot of heart. And, it's more about the family story. It's about Rocky. It's a love story,
Between the shy girl that works in the pet store, not the pest store.
not the pest store. No, she
She doesn't
work
sell
in
pests.
No, she doesn't sell John Leguizamo's.
Right.
No, she does.
And she's not a bad-looking woman. You find out later she's actually pretty.
Yeah.
But, they got her in the
frumpy thing
snow
and
cap
then,
and glasses, and she's real shy and won't talk. And Rocky brings that out of her, and I love that aspect of it. It's Rocky, but it's a love story, too.
Yeah,
it really
is. It really is, yeah.
And that kind of was what, if I were to watch that movie now and had never seen it, that's what would blow me away. When I saw it, I was 7. All I wanted to see was the fights. Let's get him, or punch meat, punch the big slabs of meat in the
Exactly,
locker, But the way he was able to weave in the manly fighting story and come up with a good story that way, and then also write a very sweet love story along the way that isn't mushy, but in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
It's actually the way a relationship starts and builds, and he captured that perfectly.
Yeah.
In that movie.
True. And that's one thing that really got kind of chunked out of the side. It just kind of threw it away as the movies progressed.
Right.
I mean, in 2, there's still a degree of it, and you get some of the problems with the marriage and whatever.
Yeah.
But then as it goes, it just like his wife just kind of goes out of the picture.
Well, she just becomes she don't want him to fight anymore.
Yeah,
so
the
she's
nagging- the nagging wife, yeah.
Which is what happens when you get married, guys. For future reference.
And exactly. So it's true to life in
Yes.
that respect. But
Yes.
I mean that whole really the kind of the heart of the Rocky movie, the first Rocky movie, was lost as the films progressed. When you get into 2 and 3 and 4, and really into 5. I mean, I don't even think his wife is in. Was she dead by 5?
She was in 5.
Okay,
She was in
so
5.
she's dead by 6, I guess. Balboa,
Yeah.
Rocky
Yeah.
Balboa.
Yeah.
So that really gets lost in translation as they progressed and as they became popcorn action movies. Now, when you get into Rocky Balboa and Creed, it then goes more back to its roots, where it's more of a drama with action in it. But
It's more, it's more real, true to life. It's more, day to day things that happen in a person's life.
Yeah, and it's Rocky dealing with the his disease from all that
The
stuff,
brain trauma and
all
stuff
crap.
like that, yeah.
We're skipping ahead, but so Rocky 1 was a clear winner. It was a great movie to me. I enjoyed it as a kid. Probably more as an adult than as a kid.
Absolutely.
I think
it's
a kid,
a lot more depth to it than you didn't realize
exactly.
when you were a kid.
When you're a kid, you're like, oh, why do they keep talking? What's with this? Oh, it's so
I wanna
boring. And then
fight.
the fights, you're like, yay, and then he loses, and you're like, oh, that's pretty much.
I remember not even knowing that Carl Weathers was Apollo Creed.
Yeah.
I kept calling him that Muhammad Ali guy. I thought that's who he was kind of channeling. He is kind of channeling Ali.
Well,
a little bit,
and that was the inspiration
Right.
for
Right.
the whole.
But I didn't
movie,
pay
so.
attention to what Apollo's name was. I knew Rocky and that Muhammad Ali guy. That's
Yeah.
what I called him. But you got any more to say about 1? Because I wanted to segue into
So,
2.
well, I'm going to get into a little bit of the trivia. So,
Okay.
Stallone was inspired to write the screenplay after seeing the Chuck Wepner Muhammad Ali fight in 1975 in the Richfield Coliseum in Richfield, Ohio. Basically, Wepner was considered a moderate talent. No one really thought he was going to do anything, and ended up giving Ali a run for his money. So that was kind of the inspiration for this film, and it shows. Like I said, when you're a kid, you think it's Muhammad Ali because that's
Right.
the character. I mean, he plays a really, out there kind of bombastic, character that's bigger than life, and that's really
colorful
what it was.
phrases and things
Exactly,
like that,
exactly. So. During the audition, Carl Weathers was sparring with Stallone and accidentally punched him in the chin. Stallone told Weathers to calm down. It's only an audition. And Weathers said that if he was allowed to audition with a real actor, not a stand-in, he'd be able to do a lot better. Director John Avildsen smiled and told Weathers that Stallone was the real actor and the writer. Weathers looks at Stallone thoughtfully for a moment and said, well, maybe he'll get better. Stallone immediately offered him the role. So that's cool. So that just
So
goes
he
to
had
show you that
attitude.
they had attitude going in.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Well, yeah, because Carl Weathers had been done such a long list of great movies before this. Yeah,
Right, and he had a great list. He's like, what, Action Jackson and
Yeah.
Predator. That's pretty much the only two I can
Well,
list with him.
Happy Gilmore.
There you go. Yeah, he was
Yeah.
actually good in that. He was actually funny in that.
Yeah.
The dog, Butkus.
Butkus.
Was
After
actually
Dick
Stallone's
Butkus,
dog.
yeah.
So that's kind of cool.
Yep. And he sold his dog.
Mm-hmm.
And then bought it back when he got his money from Rocky. That's kind of cool.
Yep.
But, yeah, it's, Polly wasn't annoying in the first movie.
Mhm.
Polly got more annoying as the movies progressed. But
Yeah, he did. He did.
But Polly was...
He was still an ass in the first
yeah,
one, and you
but
saw
just-
that he was an abusive, brother and kind
Right.
of an asshole, but
right.
he wasn't as...
And he was a drunk, and,
Yeah.
And Polly is, of course, Talia Shire's Adrian. He's her brother.
Yep.
And, the fights are just well shot. They're well, I've always said that if a boxing match ever actually took place like a Rocky movie, both people would be dead because there's a lot of face shots in those movies. But the fights are still great. They're so fun, and they just get you pumped. And the soundtrack, I can't believe it didn't win Best Soundtrack.
No kidding, right? No kidding.
That's crazy.
So this is kind of interesting. The monologue that Rocky delivers when he's after turning down Mickey's offer to manage him is completely improvised on the set.
Really?
By Stallone. He has since explained that he was heavily influenced by the fact that the bathroom in the tiny apartment in which they were shooting really did stink. So pretty quick on his feet to come up with something
exactly.
that,
Well, he's a good writer, so he can do
Yeah.
that. Burgess Meredith, of course, is great as Mickey. He's the hard ass.
Mm.
You can't do it, kind of thing. But he's inspiring Rocky by telling him you can't do it, kind of
Yep.
thing.
And Burgess Meredith got the part because the other actors that were considered for the role were insulted that Stallone wanted them to read for it.
Oh God!
So
Lord God!
God
Oh,
forbid.
but a legend like Burgess Meredith doesn't
Exactly
fare.
right.
He was great.
Yeah. Prior to breaking through with this role, Stallone was earning $36 a week as an usher. Can you
Wow.
imagine going for $36 a week to like 100?
Yeah, exactly. A whole 100
or whatever he was making after this movie.
Yeah, exactly. Jeez. Wow. Well, he's worth like $300 million now, so he's not.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's
the
good.
first sports film to win an Academy Award for Best Picture.
Wow.
That's cool.
That is very cool.
That's pretty cool. What's the
Wow.
second one?
I don't know.
Name it. Come on, go.
I don't know.
Go. What is it? What is it? Come on.
I have no idea. I got it.
What?
Chariots of Fire.
Bull Durham. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up. Probably Chariots of Fire. Yeah.
Probably
I have
Chariots
no
of Fire.
idea.
I don't count it as a sports movie, but I'm guessing Chariots of
It's
Fire.
running in slow motion. That doesn't count.
Exactly. With piano music.
Exactly. Can you imagine Harvey Keitel for the role of Polly?
Yeah.
Yeah, he probably could have.
Yeah.
He was originally considered for it. So
Yeah. But Burt Young became Polly.
yeah.
I mean,
He
I'd see
did.
him in other
He did.
stuff, and I just thought, oh, there's Polly.
That's one of those roles that really kind of stuck with him. And Stallone
Yeah.
was able to. I mean, that really would have been Stallone for that matter if he hadn't done Rambo and other stuff. But
Yeah, he kept looking forward.
yeah,
And he hit, he's one of those people, he hit big in his first two franchises with Rocky. And, I mean, of course, he had movies in between Rocky and Rambo, but to have those two iconic series, pretty much back to back, that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Never quite mastered that again until the Expendables hit a little bit, but
yeah.
for the most part, he was
We didn't see a Rhinestone 2 or an Over the Top 2 or any of those.
Right,
So,
thank God. Tango and Cash 2. I might have liked Tango and Cash 2. I like
Tango and Cash,
Yeah.
but it has not aged well.
No, it is
at all.
horribly.
It is. I mean,
Aged.
as a movie, it's actually still pretty fun. But what ages it is the soundtrack. It's like the Harold Faltermeyer leftover soundtrack that he didn't use for Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah.
Is now because I mean, literally, some of their theme song, if you listen to it, is the theme song for Beverly Hills Cop backwards. It's like almost identical.
Wow. I can't even remember the soundtrack
Wow,
to
it's
Tango and Cash.
freaking horrible.
And Jack Palance, who, legendary actor, was horrible at Tango and Cash. But why are we talking Tango and Cash right now?
because it's Stallone.
Stallone movie. I know. But anyway.
So let's get into Rocky 2, unless you want to just...
Okay, no, Rocky
if you have still
2.
something to say
Rocky
about
2 is one of the ones I'm not a fan of.
it. Me neither.
It's okay.
Yeah.
He tries to capture some of the love story and some of the grittiness of the first one, but it just didn't work as well for me. The fight, the ending of that fight is a little too over dramatic for me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
To give you an idea, Rocky 1 has an 8.1 on IMDb. Rocky 2 has a 7.2, which I'm surprised it's that high.
Yeah.
But to me, it just...
Matter of fact, when I didn't think there'd be a Rocky 3
Yeah.
because to me Rocky 2 just wasn't very good.
Yeah.
But I mean, it had its moments. Don't get me wrong. He looks like a raccoon at the end of that fight in Rocky 2 with the blood bruises around his eyes. It's like, I just thought the makeup looked horrible in that one.
Yeah, it seemed like it was a pure, unadulterated version of sequelitis. I mean, when you look at bad sequels where it's like, let's take what worked in the first one, stick it in the second one, and change a couple things that people didn't like, and that's your movie. It just seemed very tacked on. Like the screenplay didn't seem like it was worked on enough. It just seemed like they rushed it out, and it just wasn't what it was supposed to be.
I agree. And just to set it up a little bit, after the first time Rocky and Apollo fight, I love that in the first one, though, when he says there ain't going to be no rematch. And Rocky says, I don't want one, because they both fought their asses off. But people decide that it would be a good thing if Apollo did let Rocky fight him for real, and this time for the title. And so they fight. And the training montage, that was probably the first true training montage, but it didn't get up to the level of montage greatness that they would become in 3 and 4.
Yeah.
But that was kind of the start of it.
This is interesting, and I kind of actually want to try and track down this book now. Stallone himself wrote the paperback novelization for this movie, for Rocky II. The novel is mostly written in first person from Rocky's point of view, written in the same choppy English that Rocky speaks. Scenes in which Rocky is not present, such as Apollo Creed consulting his associates or Polly alone with Adrian, are in standard third person in proper English.
Really?
Kind of want to hunt that down.
I kind of want to read that now.
It's kind of interesting, yeah.
Might be hard to read.
It might be hard to read.
It might be very hard to read.
You have to just, he should do an audiobook of that.
Yeah. He should.
He wouldn't be able to understand a fucking thing.
Fight the ball.
Right.
Like, yeah, what's just going to do this thing? Fight Apollo again.
Yeah, Apollo said, we're not going to fight anymore. And I said, we're going to fight.
In the first draft of the script, the fight took place in the Roman Coliseum. A little too much. A little too Bruce Lee, Way of the Dragon.
The Roman Coliseum.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's little over the top there.
Yeah.
That's even too over the top for Ali or Creed.
Yep.
Jeez. The Roman Coliseum. Okay.
So he did write to pretty much immediately after the first one was made, even before it actually came out. He just started writing 2.
Right.
And then immediately started writing 3. It was considered to be a trilogy, and that was all he was going to do. But then 3 hit so hard that they decided to keep going with it. So, so not a whole lot to say about 2. It's to me,
it's a bridge from 1 to 3.
It is a bridge from 1 to 3, and it's the transition film because it's still a drama like the first one. It just doesn't have as much going on. There's a little, the ending's a little tacked on. You
get that scene. I guess his eye. He realizes his eye's damaged, and he can't see peripherally out of, I can't remember, right or left eye.
Yeah,
and so Mickey doesn't want him to fight, but it's for the title, so he's got to do it.
Now, what do you think Rocky 3 has on IMDb? Don't look.
Well, it's very commercial.
Yeah.
But a lot of people love that movie.
Yep.
7.5?
6.7.
Well, so it's still a little better than 2. But
no, it's lower than 2.
2 is 7.2, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So it's a lower rated movie
that's
than
the snobby
than 2.
people going, it's not an art film.
Yeah. So Stallone directed the third one.
Yeah.
Let's see if he directed the second one. I don't know if he did the second one or not. I think that might have been John G. again. No, Stallone directed the second one.
All right.
So wrote and directed the second and the third. That's cool.
Okay, 3 is a total shift.
Yeah.
3, he's the champion. He's living large.
Yep.
Commercials, endorsements, all this kind of, money coming in. Big house. Kind of loses his eye of the tiger, hence the song. And Mickey's, he finds out that Mickey, his manager, is picking bums basically for him to fight. No true contenders. That's why he keeps winning his fights, keeps making the money, not going to get hurt. And then Clubber Lang comes along, Mr. T, and he's a badass.
Yeah. Well, you forget, though, Hulk Hogan kicks his ass.
Oh, well, that's the wrestling scene, yeah. Well, no, they tie. They call it a draw. Because Stallone body slammed him.
Exactly.
Which is so funny because little 5'9" Stallone with 7-foot Hulk Hogan.
I know, right?
I love that one line because Stallone has a great ability to throw a cheesy line in, but he throws it in at the right time that it works. When Hulk Hogan's walking towards the stage, Thunderlips is walking towards the stage, the ring, And someone asks, how much do you think he eats? 202 pounds. Or how much do you think he eats? 202 pounds. The ring weighing 202 pounds.
Right.
It's just a silly line, but it worked.
Yep.
And yeah, that scene's hilarious. I mean, I loved that scene with Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
So I'm like 13 now when this movie comes out.
Yep.
So it was right up my alley. You know, I just hit teenage years. I'm full of vinegar, and you know, I'm just ready to go. And then here's a Rocky movie that I thought wouldn't be anymore, and then boom, and it's different. And this one is about being badasses and stuff. You know.
Were you full of piss too, or just vinegar?
Yeah, I had some piss too.
Okay.
I had some tinkle.
So this is when the transition basically went from dramatic film to summer blockbuster.
Yeah.
And it was just at the right time, the right film, the right cast. It was, the editing was tighter, the storytelling was tighter. It had a lot more going on. You had a lot more fights in it. You got the Thunderlips fight. You had the Clubber Lang fight, getting his ass kicked.
Yeah.
This is really when the montages really.
Well, yeah,
because
before even all that, the montages were of all the bums he's been beaten.
Exactly.
Now he's doing
This
American
was
Express
the-
commercials and
yeah.
stuff like that. You know.
This was the training montage.
Oh yeah, this was the badass
training montage.
And Stallone's body had changed a lot between 2. He was still kind of doughy looking in
yeah.
1 and 2.
And-
But by 3, he's chiseled and he's
Yep.
he's
This is when Stallone is probably at the peak of his physical attributes. And
Yeah.
he revealed at this time on the trivia here that he has remarkably at a 2.8% body fat during this film.
wow.
So that's pretty awesome right there.
Yeah.
This cracks me up. According to the interview given to Mr. T, he attended the movie premiere with his mother. During the scene where he yells lurid remarks at Adrian, his mother turned to him and said, "I did not raise you to talk to a lady like that," and she stormed out of
I
the theater.
remember that story.
It's like,
But Mom, it's a film.
I'm just playing
I pitted my mom who doesn't watch my show.
I just played a role, Mom. So I mean, that's pretty crazy.
And it made his career because he got the A team right
Yep,
after that.
yep,
Because of
he
that.
did.
But
And Carl Weathers, this is his favorite film in the series because he felt that it humanized the Apollo Creed character. Because up until then, he was basically a
yeah, loudmouth,
cartoon
brash.
version of Muhammad Ali.
Right. And so basically, Stallone, Rocky, wants to fight a real contender now because he found out what Mickey was doing.
Mm-hmm.
So he fights Clubber Lang and gets destroyed because he's blowing off his training. He's too busy posing for photos and has a cigar. I mean, he's just not really giving a shit.
Yep.
And Clubber Lang beats the snot out of him.
Yep.
Literally beats the crap out
He
of him.
does. Yeah.
So now Clubber's the champ, and Rocky's pretty much given up. He's pretty much done. And then Apollo shows up to get him motivated.
Yep.
And I love that scene when they run out on the beach. That's a cool scene. And
Yep.
and he keeps beating him, and then Rocky finally.
And the
Yeah.
gayness of them jumping and hugging together.
Yeah, that was a very, very gay
In their
hugging
short
scene.
shorts
In their
and tank
full-
tops. This is a great piece of trivia here. The song entitled "You're the Best" was performed by Joe Esposito. It was recorded for the film, but Stallone rejected it in favor for "Eye of the Tiger." "You Are the Best" was later used in Karate Kid. Remember that
That's
song?
right.
You're
Yeah,
the
you're the
best
best.
around. No one else. That crap song.
That's so bad.
It seemed like when I remember hearing it in Karate Kid, I'm like, that's such a friggin' Rocky ripoff. And then it was supposed to be
in
used
there.
for Rocky 3.
Now, Rocky or Eye of the Tiger was badass. Had that nice heavy guitar riff at the beginning, and
Yep.
had cool lyrics. Had the real man of genius singing the song.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, well, that's a flashback. People probably don't too young for that even.
Yep.
Jeez. But yeah, so Apollo and Rocky work together, and they rematch against Mr. T.
Yep. So I love this piece of trivia is hilarious. Thunderlips Hulk Hogan is billed at being a height of 7 feet, despite Hulk Hogan only being 6'8". Only being 6'8"? Really?
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you, trivia,
right,
for...
yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, he's only 6'8". Come on.
What's 2 inches? Nobody cares about 2 inches.
Well, that'd be 4.
Ask women.
There's 12 inches in a foot.
Okay, whatever. Nobody cares about 4 inches. Ask a
That's
woman.
right.
Give me some of that Black Cross. Shut your whore mouth. Mr. Math.
So-
Mr. I Math.
6'8". It's only 2 inches. That's it.
4 inches, 2
Yeah, you
inches.
can tell you're a man. You think 2 inches
Exactly.
is 4.
Yep.
Yeah. I tried to get away with that. It doesn't work. Come on, honey. I know it's 4.
Of the Rocky movies that show an official boxing match at the conclusion of the film, Rocky 3 is the only one to show the entire fight without jumping to later rounds.
I know, and I love that.
Yep.
And, this is one thing. Drove my brothers crazy. I guess they thought they wanted Rocky just beat the hell out of people all the time. I like that there are moments in the fight where Rocky's getting his ass kicked. Then Rocky comes back and starts winning. Then Rocky starts losing again. I love that because that's the way a real sporting event goes. And I'm going to get some ice real quick there we go.
Morgan Freeman auditioned for the role of Clubber Lang's trainer. Can you imagine Morgan Freeman being his
that'd
trainer?
be cool. Yeah,
that would have been cool.
So what was he doing then? Sesame Street,
Probably,
or Electric Company, whatever the one it was.
Yeah. It was Electric Company.
Yeah, but yeah, I could see him doing that. And well, that was when Polly really started really getting on my nerves. Of course, by now, Rocky and Adrian got married in 2, and so they're all happy and they've got a kid, and but then I love the ending scene where Rocky asks Apollo earlier, what I owe you for this, and he says, "I'll tell you later."
Yeah,
and it's that Apollo wanted a rematch.
Yeah,
that was cool.
Which is brought into light later in Creed.
I know. I love that they went back to that.
I love that too. Awesome. That was great.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
Now, Creed, we won't do too many spoilers because it's still out,
sort of kind of out there. Yeah. But if you haven't seen it, definitely go see it. It's so worth a watch.
Right.
It's really kind of the best Rocky movie since probably.
Well, I liked Balboa a lot.
We'll get into Balboa later. So 3, we all loved it. It was a great movie. It really it reinvigorated the series because 2, none of these were flops. I mean, 2 did well.
Yeah.
Still did well at the theater. It wasn't nominated for anything, so obviously they felt like it was
2 kind of felt like a downer. Even though it wins the title, it still felt like a downer movie.
Yeah, it did. Yeah,
just too dark, and I just didn't like it as
much. It's that middle movie in the trilogy, kind of like Empire Strikes Back, where Empire Strikes Back was the best of the Star Wars, but it was very much a downer movie. Star Trek 2, very much a downer.
Yeah, right.
Aliens, very much a downer, but
Porky's 2, just
very much a downer. Yeah, exactly. Revenge of the Nerds 2, what a piece of shit.
Yeah, just terrible.
So it just I mean, it suffered from sequelitis, and then 3 they came back a different way, went more the action route, and it made a difference. I mean, it definitely made a difference.
And then 4 takes 3 on steroids.
Yeah, 4. I
like 4.
Everybody loved 4. I really had some problems with 4.
I have problems with 4. I love 3 way more than 4.
And if I'm going to watch the Rocky movie, I'm going to watch 3 is my Wrath of Khan. 3 is the one that I'll watch. Like if it's on, it's a stop down.
Right.
I won't stop down 5. I won't stop down 4. I might stop down 4. Depends on what part of the movie it is.
Yeah. I love the fight. The speech Rocky gives at the end annoys the crap out of me.
Yeah. The fight's great. The training montages are great.
Oh, but they do back-to-back montages, which is a rare thing that you do. Montage, like a sentence or 2. Montage.
I would love for someone to do like a YouTube version of like have Rocky's montage and then Ivan Drago's montage, and then cut in like Paulie just drinking, and then Paulie drinking at a different bar, and then Paulie smoking a cigar. Just like
There's a great. I don't know if it's on there, but I was drinking and watching a Rocky movie one night, and someone on YouTube, and they had every montage on one YouTube video.
Oh, I saw that.
Awesome.
Yeah,
because I posted it on Facebook. Yeah,
that was great stuff. Yeah,
that was cool. Yeah, I get teary at Rocky movies. I get the old man cry.
Yeah,
it was like. That's so cool.
You're like,
that's badass. Stupid movie.
and we've said it before. It's a sports movie or animal dying.
Dog.
Animal dying.
Dog or sports.
It's okay. You can cry.
If your girlfriend does, it depends.
Exactly. Depends on the girlfriend.
Depends on if you just had a fight or not. But
so Rocky 4 rates a little bit higher than Rocky 3. It rates a 6.7. I don't think it is better than 3.
No.
I had my problem with this was a time when Hollywood was getting. When trailers started taking over and fucking movies up.
Yeah.
So this was I remember seeing the trailer. So when you saw Rocky 3 in the theater, you had no idea Mickey was going to die.
Right.
And he did die in the third one, and that was an emotional, like, it was, it took a popcorn movie and, like, brought it down to and it fucked you up.
Yeah.
And you see the trailer for 4, and they show Creed die in the trailer. And I'm like, what? Why would you do that?
See, that didn't happen to me.
Yeah.
What happened to me was we had to wait for it to come out on video.
Yeah.
I didn't get to see it in the theater. And they had the paperback novelization of it. Mm-hmm. And I just picked it up, and I happened to just pick it up. My thumb kind of like, kind of stopped in the middle of the book. Mm-hmm. And I just looked down, and it was the scene where Apollo died. I went, Apollo dies? And that's how I found out I was reading the freaking book for just glancing at the book. I happened to glance at that one page. It was like, oh, damn.
Yeah.
So my brother had seen it, and I'm like, does Apollo die? Oh, no, he didn't die. I'm like, okay, cool.
And then
he dies, yeah.
Well, I saw the trailer in the theaters, and I'm like, well, why would they show that in the trailer? That just gives away,
Yeah,
Yeah,
they started giving away a lot, and this was the Cold War hadn't ended yet, so he's fighting a Russian foe.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And, of course, they're showing that the American has to fight the good old-fashioned, train the good old-fashioned way.
Yeah.
Chopping logs and running up snowy mountains and stuff.
This one,
meanwhile, Drago's getting shot up with steroids and all this kind of stuff.
And running in, bright light. And this, to me, this was like the Michael Bay of Rocky movies. For some reason, it felt, it was 85. It looked like Top Gun. I mean, it had the Top Gun sensibility. It was all, super duper lit, and everything was glossy and shiny, and it just had that overproduced MTV look to it, and I didn't like it. It bugged me. It was too commercial. It was like, how'd you explain it? Let's see. It's like watching the original Fright Night versus the new Fright Night. The original Fright Night is grimy, kind of fun. It's a under the radar kind of movie, and then you watch the new one, and it's just like so over the top, glossy and polished that it doesn't have the same effect.
Well, I guess it did for me because I'm 15 at the time or 16, so I still just wanted to see him fighting and stuff. And there was less of a love story because Adrian got on my nerves in that movie. She was constantly yelling at him. And if I had a wife, and if I had won a world title before and I defended it a bunch of times, no matter who it was against, and I want to go fight this guy, and she keeps telling me you can't do it. Well, thank you for the support and love. I appreciate that, honey. I'll see you when I get back. Her negativity always got on my nerves as far as don't fight. I get what Stallone's trying to do. He's trying to show that she loves him and she doesn't want him to get hurt. But, when it's an audience, you're thinking, I want to go see him kick his ass. So quit telling him to not do it.
And it just seemed like that whole side of the story got pushed to the back. And he probably should have killed off Adrian sooner or something. Maybe she should have died instead of Apollo Creed. I don't know. But it just,
or maybe he went off on her and said, "You don't believe in me?
Yeah,
get the fuck out."
Exactly. Or they divorced or something. I don't know. It just seemed like that whole the family relationship was just tacked on at this point. And it was more about the fighting and the action. This is great. This is trivia for 4. According to Stallone, Ivan Drago returned home in disgrace and became addicted to alcohol and steroids before committing suicide. What a dark, bleak ending for him.
Yeah, but I could buy it. Buy it. Yeah, because he was. Remember at the end, the premiere says, "Our people root for him."
Yeah,
so
disgraced us.
Yeah. So obviously,
this is a great piece of trivia too. This is kind of interesting. I want to see if they get along now. According to Stallone, Dolph Lundgren, and Carl Weathers really did not get along and got into an altercation during filming. Lundgren threw Weathers across the ring before it was broken up.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Damn.
Yep.
The fight's great. I like the fight because it really looks like it's going to be like the Creed fight when Creed dies. But Rocky comes back, and I love it. And it's just, I don't love 4 as much as I do 3, but I like it better than you do. It sounds like.
Yeah.
That just means I like the Rocky series better than you do.
I like it better than 5, I'll tell you that. So
I liked 5.
So this is an interesting piece of trivia here, too. When shooting the film, Stallone decided to go for a real fight, a real take with him and Lundgren. And so they did it. They did the intense scene. After 3 takes, Rocky taking shots to the ribs, Stallone felt a burning in his chest, but he ignored it. Later that night, he had difficulty breathing and was taken to an emergency room. Discovered later that his blood pressure was over 200, and he had to be flown to Canada, St. John's Hospital in Santa Monica, where he remained in intensive care for 4 days. What had happened was Lundgren had punched him so hard in the chest, Stallone's heart had slammed up against his breastbone and began to swell, cutting off the blood supply and restricting oxygen flow through his body. Damn.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, okay. Rocky's fictional. Stallone's a real human being.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't let somebody that much bigger than you hit you for real.
Yep. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it is. And I don't like the Survivor song as well in 4 as I did.
No.
Burning Heart's just not as good.
Yeah. So the Lundgren-Weathers fight apparently caused such a riff on the set that they shut the set down for 4 days.
Wow.
Before they could get back and talk it out and agree to tone down the aggressiveness. So, wow.
That's pretty crazy.
Took Lundgren 6 months to win the part. Was first turned down by casting director for being too tall. Later he got a chance to send photos and meet Stallone, who told him he had a good chance of getting the part, but advised him to gain 20 pounds of muscle. Wow. He was huge in that film.
Oh, he was. Yeah. Well, he was taking all those steroids.
Yeah. Well,
the character.
Probably.
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah. But I like 4. I like 4 a lot.
Yeah. I liked it. There was things that bothered me about it.
Oh, absolutely.
I hated what's her name in it, the one that ended up marrying Stallone at some point.
Bridget Nielsen, I didn't
She
like
was
her.
friggin' awful.
She was
I thought
awful.
she was such a bad actress, and she just took me out of every scene that she was in. And I was just like, oh, who is this blonde whore? And why won't she shut up?
And it's Stallone winds up marrying her.
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay, we'll get to 5 since you don't like 5.
All right. Okay. I'll preface I don't like 5 by saying I did like the street fight at the end of 5.
Oh, that's great. That's one of my favorite
But
fights.
it took too long to get there, and I just didn't like it as a movie overall.
I didn't like Tommy Morrison in it.
Yeah,
he was a horrible actor.
Horrible actor.
I like the fact of Rocky returning to his roots. He didn't succeed as well in 5 as he winds up doing in 6.
Yeah. And it's sad because Stallone directed 2, 3, and 4, and then John G. Avildsen, who directed Rocky, came back for 5, and it wound up being kind of shitty.
Stallone's son wasn't the rest of soul, obviously, but
not a good actor.
Just not good.
Not a good actor.
A little too much cheese there. It was a good attempt to try to bring it back, but here's the thing. They said, okay, Rocky can't fight anymore because of the brain trauma. I get that. Okay, that's fine. And that is a reason to, but he lost all his money, and now he can't get any more money. Well, that's bullshit. He could have still gotten endorsements. He still would have gotten, like Muhammad Ali hasn't been able to function very well in years. And he was still doing those Roach commercials and all kinds of stuff, and he would have been about the same age as Rocky was in Rocky 5 when he was doing those commercials. So he wouldn't have been broke, is what I'm saying. No matter how bad his investments were prior to that, he would have been able to make money.
Yeah, and this is the only Rocky film in the entire saga that lost money at the box office.
Yeah.
Wow. So, and the only Rocky film to be rated PG-13, so up until now.
Yeah.
But this is interesting. So originally, the reason that Stallone wrote it was he wanted to kill the character. The original
he was supposed to die.
Died in the streets.
Yeah, he was supposed to die, yeah.
But the studio made him change it because they were like, well, an icon like Rocky can't die in the streets, so change it. So they rewrote it.
Yeah, and remember, the rumors were out that he was going to die. That was what,
Yeah, yeah.
And
so even Stallone doesn't like this movie. In an interview with Jonathan Ross, Stallone said he was asked to rate each of the Rocky movies, 0 out of, or 1 out of 10, or 0 out of 10, and he gave this movie a 0.
Really?
He hated it. Yeah.
Wow.
So
I remember Siskel and Ebert liking it. I remember one of them saying that they wished he'd have gone with the more, daring ending by having Rocky die, but that they still wound up liking it. And, it's kind of the way I feel. I liked it. Parts of it were annoying, and there's fewer parts that I can point to that I like than other movies.
Yeah.
In the anthology.
I don't think there's a Rocky movie that if I got the box set, I'm going to watch them all. I mean, they're all decent enough movies that I'll sit and watch them all, but this is the one that 2 and this are the 2 that I would avoid if I had to. If I could get away with, okay, well, I don't have to watch 2, and if I can pick 2 that I don't want to watch, it's 2 and 5.
And 5 came out years before my dad passed, but it was still wound up being the last time my dad and I went to a movie together. So I'll always kind of have a little sentimentality for that. And there's a great Elton John song that plays over the credits that he didn't write. Alan Menken and whoever his writing partner is, who wrote like what's it called, Wolf, or the Mermaid, Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
He wrote all those stuff. But the lyrics to that song really tell the Rocky story without mentioning Rocky in any way, shape, or form. It really just, you could sense someone writing the song for Rocky. And it was, the lyrics are great. Elton sings it great. And I love that song, but it never got released. The movie didn't do well. So 5 pretty much everyone discards, but I liked it.
Yeah.
Didn't love it, but I liked it.
I can see that. Now let's get to Rocky Balboa. I actually liked Rocky Balboa, except for the fight scenes. I didn't like the fight scenes in it because I felt that they copped out a little bit. It was too much close-up action and zoomy weird stuff and crazy crap. And
it's probably because Stallone's older and he didn't have the reflexes to make it look quick.
Probably, but he pulls it off in the Expendables. So you know, come on, I don't know. I definitely
I don't watch the movies that way. That's not how I'm watching a movie. I'm watching for the characters and for the.
Well, no, I get that, but you watch Rocky movie for the fight scenes and the fight.
Yeah, I'm
scenes
just watching the fight. I'm just
horrible.
watching their faces getting hit and stuff like that.
I don't know.
I'm not watching how his arms are moving or how the camera's capturing his arms.
I didn't like. Well, to me, it was like they just killed the movie for me because it's like the fight scenes is what you're waiting for, and then you get to the fight scenes and it's all close up, you can't tell what's going on. I'm like, oh, you just destroyed this movie.
So I don't
for me.
remember that at all.
Yeah, you got to see it again.
So that would have. I've seen it. I just saw it recently.
Yeah, I like the sun casting in this. It was perfect for Milo to jump in there and take over, and because he has the same mouth thing that Stallone has. Perfect casting for his son. I thought the story was where it needed to be.
I like how the reason the fight happens is because ESPN will do this from time to time.
Yeah.
They'll rank the greatest of whatever, and then they'll have them do like the tournament pool. What's it called, the bracket and stuff.
Yeah.
And they had the current champion. I can't remember the current champion's name. Beating Rocky, and everybody at Rocky's restaurant are like, "Oh, that's bullshit. Rocky'd kick his ass," and blah blah blah. Don't remember how it turns out, but anyway, Rocky agrees to fight him. And there's a great line in that movie, man. He says after the fight and we won't say who wins or loses because this was an interesting ending. The champion hugs Rocky and says, "You're a crazy old man." He says, "You'll get there." I love that line. Great line.
Yep.
I watched the alternate ending, and it wasn't as good. They did pick the right ending to me for Rocky.
I don't think I watched it. What was the alternate?
Well, we'll give it away, but that movie's 10 years old. So
Yeah, go ahead and give it away.
Rocky Balboa ends like Rocky 1 does.
Yeah.
He puts up a great fight, but he doesn't win.
Yeah.
And I love that scene. He walks off, and fans are cheering Rocky. So even though he lost, they're still cheering Rocky, and he kind of turns around and looks like he's saying goodbye to the ring. I love that. When the one he wins, it ends the same way with him walking and turning around and looking, but it's like it didn't have the same effect as when I saw it when he lost, that the fans were letting him know they still love him, even though they respected the fact that he went out there and put up a good showing. When he won, it was like, well, of course they're going to cheer for him when they win. That's nowhere near as effective as the first one, or as the original ending, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I enjoyed it.
No Adrian and Balboa, that helped.
Yeah, for sure.
Paulie was annoying.
Yeah. And no Paulie, and
he kills off Paulie in Creed.
he does. But is that because he's dead, or I don't even know? Is that
I don't know. Is Burt Young still alive? Burt Young? I don't know.
Burt Young alive? Let's look. Burt Young is still alive.
I
75.
Thought he was.
Yeah.
Okay. But on to Creed.
On to Creed.
Oh, I'll go back to Balboa for a second. My brother was all like, "Oh, it's too stupid. Rocky's too old to be fighting." Blah blah blah. And I was like, George Foreman just won a championship a couple of years ago, and he's in his late 40s.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's what inspired Stallone to do Balboa. But, so my brother didn't buy it. Then he calls me. He saw it before I did. He goes, "Okay, you were right. It works. It was good." I was like, okay. All right, now Creed.
Yeah, so Balboa was definitely a better movie than 5. And Creed ups the ante. I mean, to me, Creed was personally the best Rocky movie since Rocky 1, I think. I mean, it had this. And now, if you're going to compare apples to apples, it's the most similar to Rocky 1 because
absolutely.
it is drama.
Yeah.
And it's really...
Where 5 tried to be that, it failed.
Yeah,
Creed did it.
Creed
nailed it.
Yeah, Creed nailed it. It's a drama, and it's a story about family, and it's a story about, discovering who you are. So it really is a redo of Rocky, as close as you can get to it, with this other character being the Rocky character, Adonis, basically.
Yeah.
And it felt like a quality movie, like it was supposed to be, and it's actually the highest rated beyond the first Rocky. It's a 7.8. Rocky 1 is an 8.2. So I think critics and audiences agree. It hit all the right notes. It didn't feel false. It didn't feel like for me, there's 2 movies that came out this year that feel like a remake of the original. This one and Star Wars Force Awakens. And you haven't seen Star Wars yet, but The Force Awakens got critiqued because while it did feel like a real Star Wars movie, unlike the prequels, it was basically a remake of Star Wars. It's like, let's take the best parts of Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, shove them together, put some new characters in there, a couple old ones that you like, and that's the movie. And when you're watching it, you're having a great time. But after you think about it, you're like, wait a fucking minute, that's some bullshit. Like, they just totally pulled one over on me, because it doesn't advance the story at all. All you know now is that, okay, from here on out, Star Wars, we've got these new characters. There's stories about them now. But the movie did nothing to advance the story. So Creed sort of did that, but it did it in a better way because it brought in characters that meant something to Rocky,
right?
And or to Robert, as his real character's name is,
right?
But it also hit all the right notes for Stallone. He actually got to give a performance.
He won a Golden Globe for Best Supporting Actor, and nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah, which is
got
great.
hosed for an
He
Oscar.
totally did. Yeah, he totally did.
Yeah.
And I think, for me, he's going to be one of these guys that gets the Lifetime Achievement Award. They're going to give him one.
Yeah.
There's the guys that get them that, probably should have won for something else, but they end up getting the Lifetime
Okay, well,
Achievement.
I'm a
He'll
huge
get it.
Paul Newman fan.
Yeah.
And Paul Newman should have won for Cool Hand Luke. There's a bunch of movies he should have won for.
Yep.
And they gave it to him for The Color of Money.
Yeah.
Okay, Creed was better than Stallone's performance in Creed was better than Newman's performance in Color of Money. And so Stallone should have gotten the Academy Award.
And the Academy Award.
But Newman did have more skids on the wall, so I guess
Exactly. And Stallone may do some other crappy half-ass drama that's coming up next. He may win an Oscar for that for Best Supporting Actor. You never know, because that happens a lot too. You got freaking Whoopi Goldberg winning for Ghost.
God.
And she should have won for the Color Purple. I mean, Color Purple was
The Color of Purple.
The Color of Purple. Yeah, The Color of Purple Money. Yeah,
right.
she should have won for that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So that happens all the time.
I know.
People win for the wrong movies all the time.
Yeah, but win for the right movie now.
Exactly.
I know. But what I loved the most about Stallone's performance is there's a lot of silence, a lot of just not speaking.
It is,
and age or whatever it is, more emotion shows on his face.
Yeah.
And you can tell there's certain scenes where you can tell he's reminiscing.
Yeah.
And I caught myself certain times thinking, I bet he's thinking about this.
Yeah.
That I'd think about another part of another movie. I'm like, I bet he's thinking about this because
Yeah.
you just see the look in his eyes.
Well, he does a lot of smell the fart acting in this.
He does. Well, he's Italian. That's
Exactly.
Like Joey. Okay, let's go to Adonis. Adonis Creed.
Yeah.
That character could have been really annoying.
Yes.
And he did have annoying parts because he's
He did.
supposed to be.
Yeah,
He's
he did.
from the streets. He's got a chip
the
on his
part of
shoulder.
him losing his shit at the party
Yeah.
or whatever that
Yeah.
annoyed the shit out of me.
Yeah.
I knew it was coming. I'm like, don't go there.
Yeah.
Don't. And it
Yeah.
happened. I'm like, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
But
it kind of had to go there.
Yeah, it
and
did.
so basically, he's Apollo Creed's love child,
yep.
and comes from just a miserable upbringing. Goes to jail. Apollo Creed's ex-wife had, kind of fosters him, brings him in.
Basically. Yeah.
So now he gets to live in a nice house with good upbringing, and it straightens his life out.
Yeah.
But he's still hungry, and he still wants to. He's got it in his system. He's Apollo Creed's son.
Well, he's got the eye of the tiger. So
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, and he wants to live up to his dad's legacy and show that he's better than his dad and that kind of stuff because he never met his dad.
Exactly. Yeah.
If you just tell somebody what this movie's about, you can see them rolling their eyes like, well, that sounds stupid.
Yeah.
But they pull it off so well.
And that's honestly, when I heard this was being made and I heard what the plot was, I'm like, oh, fuck
I did
that.
too.
Like,
We
like,
said it on our
this
other
is-
show. We're like,
this is
I
gonna
don't
be
know.
garbage,
I'm
man.
going to watch it, but it's going to
Yeah,
suck.
I'm going to see it because Stallone's in it and he gets to play the Mickey character,
Yeah.
but it's still kind of.
But then it came out and it was like rave reviews. I'm
Yeah.
like, what? It's getting really good reviews.
I know. I was very.
Stallone should win an Oscar.
and-
Like, what?
And this is the only reason that I thought when I heard who was making it, how his involvement was, who he was giving the franchise over. I'm like, okay, that guy's a really good director. I like this other actor that's playing Adonis, and I like people involved. So maybe they got some skin in the game, and this is going to be something good. And it worked out very
did.
well.
It really did.
And when you talk about Stallone's acting, and everybody does a really good job in this. I mean, even getting down to the secondary characters like the girl that he falls in love with, that Adonis falls in love with. She's very natural, very sexy. Just her part is done well.
I love that line. She goes, "Why didn't you tell me your uncle is Rocky Balboa?"
right.
He's like, "Oh, you recognized him?" She's like,
Right.
"Yeah."
But I mean, Stallone really brought his A game.
He did.
And I mean, I don't know.
We didn't even know he had that A game.
I
yet,
mean,
actually.
since Copland, I don't know that he would have pulled this performance off had he directed and written it.
Right.
I
Yeah.
think that he's one of these
He's
guys
able to
that
distance himself
does
from it.
very well under other people's tutelage.
Mm-hmm.
Does very well when he's less involved in the filmmaking process and more involved in the character process.
Right. Yeah.
It worked with him for Copland. It worked with this. It worked with the first Rocky.
Mm-hmm.
And there's several scenes, like the scene when Adonis goes to visit the restaurant and they're talking. You can see the wheels turning in his head.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't want to get involved. He doesn't. This. It's without saying a whole lot. He's telling you everything. You
Yeah,
know?
exactly.
And it's all that eye acting with the eyes, acting with the body language. He's very closed off. And,
Yeah.
and the scene at the hospital, the scene,
Yeah.
is fucking heartbreaking.
It
I mean,
is.
that scene, I started bawling.
Yeah, it
When
was
I
tough.
was like sobbing. I'm like, fuck. My
Yeah.
wife's like, what are you watching? I'm like, I'm watching Creed. She's like, what the hell's wrong with you? I'm like, no, it's good. It just,
Yeah.
And then at the end, I'm like, at the same time, I'm upstairs, everybody's downstairs, and I'm like, yeah, jumping up and down like a freaking idiot.
I
Like,
know.
I
I
can't
was
imagine.
like, I mean, I wanted to go hit some stuff after that.
Exactly. I could imagine seeing this in theater because I would have been a freaking.
Oh,
mess,
I would have been.
so.
Yeah. Well, our buddy Phil, he tell you what he read about some. It was
the critics thing.
The film critic. It was a movie theater full of hard-nosed, cynical film critics.
Yep.
And at one scene where they played just the snippet of the Rocky theme, he said the whole place jumped up and started cheering. It's like you're supposed to be, very. What's the middle of the road? You're not supposed to show any emotion when you're watching these things, and they're all like cheering and stuff. And I did the same thing. I mean, I heard it. I was kind of laying in bed with my pillow up against the headboard, watching it, and that happened. I'm like, man, I stood up, and I was just like, this is awesome.
Yeah,
the fight is on.
Yeah,
good shit,
and great fight too. I mean, the fight scenes were great, and it was just a great all around movie. I mean, I would watch this. This is a stop down for me in this series. It'd be for me. It's. And while I love one, it's not necessarily a stop down because it is a drama. But this
is a drama. It is a hair long. It's a little bit too long. And
it's that 70s mindset of long takes, long dialogue, and not a lot of going on. The story's kind of slow. So it's got that 70s sensibility about it. There's a lot of movies that are great movies, but if you watch them now in this day and age, you're like, God, that movie's slow. Like Lawrence of Arabia was one of my favorite movies growing up as a kid because it's just beautifully shot, great acting, great story, but it's freaking long. I mean, just I can't sit through it now.
I told you, me and a buddy and I were going to watch Good, Bad, and the Ugly, and I got about an hour into it, and I said, I'm done.
Yeah,
I can't watch this anymore. It was just too long, too slow, and I don't mind a Western being slow because I expect that.
Yeah,
but go somewhere while it's being slow. You can still do that.
Yeah,
but
another one that's really slow too, and that same director is Once Upon a Time in the West, and that one doesn't feel as slow.
No, it doesn't.
It's got more going on.
It does.
So I would really love to see, if you're out there and you're a film editor or whatever, I would love to see classic movies edited for today's sensibility. Take movies like Casablanca. I don't think Casablanca needs editing, but take movies like Lawrence of Arabia, Gallipoli, these older movies that are Chariots of Fire, for Christ's sake. Even Rocky, and re-edit them to today's sensibility and see how they
There's
fare.
a scene in Good, Bad, and Ugly where they stare at each other for like 2.5 minutes or something. You're like, what are you doing?
Yeah, the music's awesome.
The music is awesome.
You can get away with staring at each other. The music's awesome.
No, not that long. People, because in the desert, people are sweating. I'm like, I don't want to watch this for 2.5 minutes. So cut that scene down. Just speed up the music.
Right. No.
Really MTV it up.
Right. Explosions after every eye pupil's exploding and other people and whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, that was well said.
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
Great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but there's directors that still do that. Quentin Tarantino's one of them. While his, Hateful Eight, I don't know if you saw Hateful Eight, but great dialogue in that movie, but fucking nothing happens. I mean, it is so slow and drawn out. I don't know why people consider that
and they love
Quentin Tarantino movie.
And God forbid you tell a Tarantino fan, I didn't like that movie. Boy, they will go ape shit on you.
Exactly. To me, it was just slow. It was, poorly paced. While there is good characters in it, it could have been cut by about 45 minutes, and it would have been a better movie to me.
Death Proof, I thought, was really good. It had a good story, good acting in it. Kurt Russell plays a really cool part, a really good part, because he has two different sides to him, and he pulls it off. But there's scenes where the girls are just sitting there talking, and it goes on and on and on, and then, and he's trying to do the same kind of dialogue, the snappy dialogue that Travolta and Samuel L. Jackson have, with the Royale and cheese and stuff. Well, they made it funny, and they were fun, and they made it kind of flowed, man. It was good. The girls were too slow, and they were trying to, and it just, and they're just laying around.
That freaking scene with the one girl getting all the texts or whatever, and they got the cheesy music playing, and I'm like, God. I don't know. I mean, to me, Tarantino's one of these directors that his magnum opus is Pulp Fiction, and he should have just he hit really well with Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction,
and then boom, blew it away with Pulp Fiction.
And then after that, it was just a slide down. I mean, and Inglourious Basterds is good. That's one I will watch. It's a stop down for me. I like it a lot, but still a little bit long. Django, way too long. Could have cut that down. Great performances, but overall, subject
Kill Bill would have been
too
long if they'd have left it one movie.
I can't take Kill Bill. I can't watch. And there's one that's called the Whole Bloody Affair, where it's one long movie. Kill me now. I will not. That's what they show in hell. It's 4 hours long, and it's just fucking awful. So
I
don't know. That's just my opinion.
But
I don't know how we even got on that subject.
I don't either. But thumbs. Oh, but Rocky being slow.
Yeah.
But
Welcome to podcasting.
Yes. But overall, I give all the movies a thumbs up, but some of them bigger thumbs up than others.
Yeah, I give a thumbs up to Rocky 1, thumbs down to Rocky 2, thumbs up for 3, thumbs mostly up for 4, 1 up and 1 sideways for 4, down for 5, up for Balboa, and up for Creed.
Yeah,
for me,
good stuff.
Yeah,
good stuff.
Very. I mean, definitely. I can't think of another film anthology that there's that many good movies in. You know.
Yeah.
And
I think a lot of it has
sucks.
to do with the fact that it changed tempo and it changed flow and structure and things like that. And,
yeah.
But yet it kept a lot of the same structure, so you got a lot of what you came to see. But he took, Rocky 1 and Rocky 3, not even close.
Yeah. And, I mean, he did that to a degree with First Blood is a good
great movie.
Thriller action movie, I guess you would call that, or I don't know what you would call that.
It's kind of a psychological
action movie. But then totally changed focus. 2 was just America, that's just like the ultimate America movie, and then 3 was awful. And
I didn't even see
Rambo
it.
3 was the one where he's like fighting with the Afghans or whatever.
Yeah.
And then
I think that's the last one I saw.
The last one, John Rambo, was actually really good.
Was it?
Really good.
Okay.
So if you liked the latest Rocky movies, check out John Rambo. It's actually a very, very well-made movie.
Yeah. Cool.
And a good performance from him in that, too, but it's so understated.
Yeah.
I mean, his Rambo performance is pretty much quiet, no dialogue.
Right.
It's all
But
in the eyes.
he didn't mumble as much in First Blood.
Yeah.
He mumbles starting in 2.
Yeah.
And I hated it because it went First Blood, and then it went First Blood 2, or Rambo First Blood Part 2,
Yeah.
and then it went Rambo 3. Well, wait a minute. There was never even a Rambo 1 or a Rambo 2, so how's there a Rambo 3?
Right. Well, now Rambo... Wait, First Blood is now Rambo First Blood.
Is that what they're calling it now?
Yeah.
That wasn't what it was
So
called.
if you
when
get
it
the
came out.
Blu-ray set, it's Rambo First Blood, and then Rambo First Blood Part 2.
That's
and then
not how it
Rambo
was.
3, and then
It came out as
John
First
Rambo.
Blood, damn it.
Yeah.
You know what?
They do that a lot, though. There's what's the other one that did that? Star Wars became Star Wars 4: A New Hope. There's a couple other ones that did that.
Yeah, but it doesn't count. If it wasn't what it was when I saw it,
Raiders
it
of
doesn't
the Lost
count.
Ark is now Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark.
I saw that.
Yeah.
It's so stupid.
Which is stupid, yeah.
Yeah, just dumb. So,
They Lucased it, yeah. That's what they do.
I know. It's stupid.
So, yeah, if you haven't seen the Rocky movies and you're listening to this,
And one weekend, if you're snowed in or it's raining all weekend and
Yeah.
you can't do yard work or honeydews.
Better than the Godfather trilogy, because you had 2 good movies and the third one was completely awful. So this one there's not a completely awful one per se.
Right.
Better than the Star Wars movies, as far as like there's 3 bad Star Wars movies. Better than Star Trek movies, because like every other one's good and then they get really shitty for a while. So yeah, I mean it's really there's not another anthology where they're all watchable.
Yeah, exactly.
You get into the Nightmare on Elm Streets and there's some god awful ones. You get into the Halloweens, there's god awful ones. You get into the Friday the 13th, there's god awful.
Yeah, because even though I kind of like all the Friday the 13th, there's some that I could live without ever
Jason
watching
Takes
again.
Manhattan. Yeah.
Okay, no, that's a horrible one. That doesn't count. I don't like that one.
Jason X or whatever it was is also.
Oh
pretty
wow,
darn
man,
bad.
I'm forgetting. Yeah, those 2 were horrible. And I saw both of those. I went to the theater to watch those movies.
Yeah,
Stupid.
Jason X is so bad.
Yeah,
So
when
yeah, I mean it's just a well-rounded set of movies, and they change in tone, but they still have the same overall feel. Mm-hmm. All very inspirational and,
Right.
and feel goodish.
Yeah, right. Well, it goes back to Stallone. He wrote a great character,
Yeah, he really did.
and so you really just cared about the character, and you wanted to see, how he progressed in life. If it had just ended at 1, it would have been fine. But you'd been like, well, did he ever get another chance? I mean, what happened?
I would honestly really like it if the characters stopped at this movie. I don't want to see another Creed movie. I really don't.
Well, I think there's going to be another Creed movie, but the character might be stopped. He might not be doing it.
Yeah,
that's what they're saying.
I'd be okay with him not being involved, because
Yeah.
I think that's a good end for the Rocky character.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he needs an overdramatic death scene. I don't know if that's what we
I don't
need
know.
from
I
him.
don't know
you
either. I don't know either.
So I would almost just rather skip ahead. Many years. He's boxing professionally now. He's thinks about his mentor, which was Rocky, but now he's on to somebody else. I don't know. Who knows?
And we mentioned it, so we'll just kind of gloss over it a little bit. But
Yeah.
The ending of Rocky 3 with the rematch. Yeah, Adonis Creed wants to know who won that,
Yep.
and Rocky won't tell him.
Yep.
But I like that. I love that they worked that back into the
Yeah, it was
into the
great.
script.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Very, very famous painting, too,
Yeah, very famous.
by that guy who painted really shittily.
Leroy Neiman. Something Neiman.
Those big sports
Oh, they're
paintings.
horrid with looks like watercolors. It looks like something I could have done if I'd have just.
Yeah, it just looks like someone just smashed and paint together, and it looks like sort of a blur. And
Yeah, but
I
those
don't know.
things sell like crazy. I mean,
know,
they're
I
very
know.
valuable.
I never thought they were great, but whatever. What do I know about art besides movies? So, anyway, so check out the Rocky Anthology on your spare time and smoke a cigar while doing so, and you can be like Polly
And Mick.
and Mickey, yeah, the two meanest characters in the whole
Right.
series.
In the whole series. Yeah, they're even meaner than like Clubber or Drago at
I
times.
know, right? Mickey, such an asshole.
He was. He was.
Great lines, though. Great lines.
Get up, Rock, because Mickey loves you.
Yeah.
I love that line. That's great.
Was it you're gonna piss thunder and crap lightning, or what was it?
Something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but best movie with sequels, or best series with sequels, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. So, as always, where can they find us, Randy?
iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Stitcher, Podcast Land, Podomatic, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Not bad for
Good-
something.
Not bad.
That's I didn't even practice that.
All right, guys.
And I'm at Randy Rankin 43 on Twitter. What am I?
Instagram,
What am I on Instagram? Oh, Randy Rankin 95 on Instagram.
and I am cigar_Luna on Instagram, and my Twitter is Captain Funky Pants.
Right. And hit us
Yeah.
up. Nice closing segment here.
Great stuff. It's been great talking movies with you guys.
See you later, Brandon.
See you later, Randy.